One of the big issues why people do not change their identity or their money beliefs is because they believe that money is scarce, when quite frankly, it's not. When you believe money is scarce, you try to hoard it, and the issue is when you try to pull something in by force, it just pushes it away. Instead of trying to pull in money by force, instead you must attract it. You've been taught your entire life, money is this very scarce item, so you have to be very careful around it and all this stuff, when unequivocally that's not true. All you need to do is look at the money printing they've been doing the past couple years. And by the way, past few years have been exaggerated. It's still been going on for 100 years now. I say this all the time, but look at the inception of the Federal Reserve. Understand where does money come from. That $100 bill that you're holding, who created that? Was it the government? Because it wasn't the government, but look into it. So we live in this world where you've got private investors that own the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve then gets to print money that the government borrows. And then the best part is a lot of that flows to the banks. So you've got this funny money that's backed by nothing. And the best part is then it gets sent to the banks, where they use something called fractional reserve banking, which means they only need to hold a reserve. A tiny fraction of those funds need to be held in reserve. So then they can take that funny money and multiply it many, many times over. The reason I say all this to you is to prove that money is not scarce, because they print it and it's backed by nothing. It's valueless. Only value is the perception, the mental perception that you've put around it. So when you start to realize the world's monetary system as we know it, then it becomes very easy to understand that money is not scarce. Money is abundant, and they have proven that it's infinite. So what you need to do is hate the game or play the game. Make a bunch of this money, this fake fiat currency, and then go put it into tangible, real assets. If you look at it, quite frankly, the world's monetary system is kind of like, imagine a parallel universe, and all of the elites and leaders in the parallel universe collected all the sand in the world. And the sand is backed by nothing. You can't really do anything with the sand. The sand doesn't have too much use, but they convinced all of the little peasants that one little grain of sand is worth a lot. And the entire economy ran on these little grains of sand. Even though they're kind of useless, you can't really do much with them. All it is just the belief that that little grain of sand is worth something or can buy you something. But what happens when the curtain falls, the show is over, and people realize the sand is worthless? They've been lied to this entire time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world's financial system in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Which is why, if you know how to do things right over the next decade or so, you can collect all of this funny money and then buy real, tangible things with it. Things that have actual value to them. So that's the next reason you're poor, is because you have not educated yourself on what is money, where has it come from, the monetary system as we know it. And unfortunately, the byproduct to that is you have this anxiety about money. You think that money is scarce, when quite frankly, it's not. Now, in this world, there are people who create